So by now, everybody knows that Trump did the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was a smashing success for Donald Trump. What is it at 36, 38 million views by now? And it's just going to keep going and keep going. And like, I got to tell you, man, Trump has been riding a massive wave of upward mobility over the last few weeks, which I kind of pretty much anticipated would happen because, when they elected Kamala, well, they didn't elect Kamala Harris. So let's get one thing straight. The Party of Democracy did the most undemocratic thing and kicked out their democratically elected president and replaced him with somebody who was not democratically elected at all. But they're the Party of Democracy. That to me is just absolutely hilarious. That is hilarious to me, how they bitch, whine, and cry about democracy, and they're so undemocratic, it's not funny. But regardless of that, Donald Trump did the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was an absolute hit. It just rocked, and it was fantastic. And of course, the liberals are already complaining and whining like they always do. It took too long. He rambled on. He really didn't say anything important. And apparently, the liberals just simply don't understand the breadth of a Joe Rogan podcast, even though just a few short years ago, the liberals loved Joe Rogan until Joe Rogan woke up and smelled the liberal bullshit and then kind of to jump off the train, as so many others have. Now, all of a sudden, they hate Joe Rogan because that's the party of inclusion, the party of acceptance. As long as you think like us, as soon as you don't, then we hate your guts. Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, they hate Tulsi Gabbard, dude. They hate Tulsi Gabbard. You got to remember, 4 years ago, they were saying Tulsi Gabbard was the future of the party. CNN had her on there and was asking her if she was going to run for president. Then all of a sudden, she had enough of the liberal bullshit. She jumped ship. Now they hate her. Immediately, as soon as she says I'm leaving the Democrat Party, the next day, Russian agent. Tulsi Gabbard's a Russian agent. She's got to be a Russian agent because that's how liberal minds think. They're so feeble and they're so easily manipulated. You lost Alan Dershowitz. This guy has been a Democrat since Jesus Christ, and you lost him. How bad must your party suck to lose somebody like Alan Dershowitz? It must be the absolute worst. You lost RFK. The guy's entire lineage is Democrat, and you lost RFK. So that just kind of shows you how bad it's no longer the Democrat Party. Let's clear that up. It is the liberal party. There are no more Democrats. The few Democrats they had left, Sinema and Manchin, they left the party. Everybody who was a self-proclaimed Democrat, they all left the party. They all left. Now all you have are the unhinged, the smooth brain liberals. That's all you have left. But Trump does the Joe Rogan podcast. It's a smashing success. He does a fantastic job. And then all of a sudden, Joe Rogan, he extends one out to Kamala, or let me see, somebody posted on my channel the other day, you don't even know how to pronounce her name correctly. Was it Kamala? And I replied back, I don't care. She's really not that important because she will not be president. All you people out there hoping and praying that Kamala Harris is going to be the president, it's never going to happen. She's simply too stupid to be the president. And I can tell you what, all you people who think she deserves to be president, tell you what, make me a list of all her great accomplishments she's had in the last 4 years and try to convince me, because you can't, because she has no accomplishments in the last 4 years. But regardless, she decides, to turn down Joe Rogan, which is the biggest boneheaded idea. And this kind of shows you the intelligence level of Kamala Harris. So if we look right here, Joe Rogan posted, also for the record, the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin. My sincere wish is just to have a nice conversation and to get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make this happen. Well, let's get something straight. First off, they want to control the environment, because if you control the environment, you control everything. It's literally that simple. You control the environment, you control everything happening inside the environment. Plain and simple. Second thing, they only want to do an hour because Kamala Harris has 3 answers. It does not matter the question. It has 3 answers. You get to hear how she was a DA and prosecuted traffickers. You get to hear that answer. You get to hear how she was raised a middle-class child. You get to hear that answer. And, of course, the best answer, I'm glad you asked that question. Let's talk about Donald Trump. Those are the three answers she gives for everything. Don't believe me? Go look up any interview, CNN, 60 Minutes, Fox News, it doesn't matter. Those are the three answers for everything asked. The three answers. She's a smooth brain. She does not have the ability to expand upon those answers. That's it. That's as far as her limited mental capacity will let her think. So, she only wanted to do an hour. Joe Rogan had to go to her. So let's think about this for a minute. Joe Rogan's got the biggest podcast in the world, or one of the biggest podcasts in the world. If I had a message that I had to get out there, I had to get this message out, and time was getting short, I would do whatever I had to do to get on the biggest podcast in the world. My staff would be tripping over each other, booking flights to get us down there. But no, not Cammie, not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris isn't smart enough to understand the brevity that comes with doing something like a Joe Rogan podcast. Simply does not understand. So let's forget about that one. Second thing, Joe Rogan doesn't need to go to her because Joe Rogan has no message to get out. Kamala Harris does. So I'm offering you a platform. If you come, great. If you don't, I don't care. But don't ask me to pack up my studio when you need to be on my channel. I don't need to have you on my channel. I'm not packing up my studio, my team, all my gear, and coming up to you. I don't care who you are. You coming to me benefits you greatly. Me coming to you doesn't benefit me at all. Not at all. So why would I do that? Why would you make a demand on me to pack up my entire studio, my crew, everything, and come to you when you're the one that needs to be on my channel? Again, smooth brain thinking, the non-brains, the liberals, the Kamala Harrises of the world, the non-brains, Kamala, somebody actually said, you don't even know how to say their name on my, did I mention that already? I think I may have mentioned that already, but somebody already said, you don't even know how to pronounce her name correctly, dude. Somebody left me a comment, and I replied back, doesn't matter, she's not that important. Kamala Harris is not going to win the presidency. Not going to happen. But I just found it absolutely interesting that Kamala Harris, who needs the votes, she's losing. Kamala Harris is losing across the board now. She's down across the board. The betting odds, Trump's 30 points over on the betting odds? And those guys are actually more accurate than the polls are. And he's like 30 or 40 points up over Kamala Harris in the betting odds. That's pretty much a sure sign that Kamala Harris is done. And then let's add to the fact that it looks like Trump has Trump's going to win the delegates, no doubt about it. But it also looks like Trump's got a pretty damn good chance of winning the popular vote also, of winning both. And I hope he does, because that shuts up the liberals. Because I'm going to tell you real quick what's going to happen. Is, those Republicans are they're election deniers. They're election deniers. Okay, great. Al Gore denied the election. Took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Denied the election. Denied that he lost. Hillary Clinton denied the election. She conceded and then spent the next 4 years talking about how the election pretty much was hers. She got screwed out of it. Another election denier. Stacey Abrams. Dude, she denied the election. I mean, oh my God, she blew the hell up over that. Straight up election denier. But it's okay as long as it's a liberal. If it's a Republican, then you're a heretic. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You're a Russian agent. One of their favorite things to use. You're a Russian agent. If the Democrats do it, it's all good. But if a Republican does it, then all of a sudden, you're enemy number one.